Hello, welcome to Biology for You. In this video, we are going to discuss reverse transcription PCR. So, in the previous videos, we have discussed many PCR variants, and in this video, we are going to have the overall idea of the reverse transcription PCR. So, basically, what exactly is the reverse transcription PCR is and how it works and what are the different enzymes that generally used in the reverse transcription PCR. That is going to be our discussion points of today's video. So here, reverse transcription, what exactly is reverse transcription is and what is this RT-PCR. So what it is? Basically, it is also known as RT-PCR, but this RT-PCR can also be a real-time PCR. So, in order to avoid the confusion, let us use this full form, that is reverse transcription PCR, because the real-time PCR is different and reverse transcription PCR is different. So, in the reverse transcription PCR, generally what we do is, from the mRNA, we will go for DNA synthesis. So, in order to understand maybe a gene expression, maybe some analysis of some genes, maybe in order to understand what is different pathogens, maybe to identify some pathogens, or maybe kind of gene copy number, expression level. For all these cases, we generally go for reverse transcription PCR. That means the mRNA level of mRNA at that point of time of the experiment, we are going to determine using this reverse transcription PCR. That means from a biological sample, we are going to isolate the RNA, and from that RNA we will reverse transcribe it into the DNA, and this DNA will be amplified using this PCR reaction, so that the quantity of DNA will be increased, the amount of the DNA will be increased, and that is used as reference point to understand the initial RNA. And it is used, this PCR product is used to analyze the RNA that have been isolated from the experimental sample. So that is how the reverse transcription PCR will works. So what is the enzyme? The hero of the reaction is the reverse transcriptase enzyme. During the mid of 1970s, there was a discovery of reverse transcriptase. The enzyme which can successfully convert RNA into DNA. That means it will reverse copy the RNA, copy the DNA from the RNA. So generally it is present in the viruses called RT viruses, reverse transcription retroviruses, and these retroviruses has the ability to copy their RNA. That is what their genome is. So their RNA genome will be converted into DNA, and that will incorporate in the host cell, so that the host mechanism is hijacked. That is how the host mechanism is hijacked. And the enzyme reverse transcriptase is very special, that can copy the RNA and into the DNA. So here, using this enzyme, isolating this enzyme, we can also copy this RNA into DNA experimentally in the laboratory using this reverse transcription PCR. So coming to the process, how it works. So basically there are these reverse transcriptase enzyme is isolated and it is commercially developed. There are many types of reverse transcriptases. Mostly reverse transcriptases are isolated from murine leukemia virus, so this MLV, from MLV these reverse transcriptase enzymes are obtained, and this is developed in many ways. So the commercial products are MMLV and and Superscript, series from Superscript. Superscript 3, 2, 3, 4, so on. So all these are commercially available enzymes, reverse transcriptases that are generally used in the laboratories. And coming to the point how exactly the reverse transcription will works. So generally first the enzyme will take the RNA, it will go and bind, the primers will be going and binding with this RNA to produce the complementary DNA, and this DNA, RNA DNA hybrid, will also act as template to produce many copies of the DNA. That is what the PCR process is. So generally we can analyze data either real time or the endpoint analysis. So the data analysis may be endpoint analysis or generally real time PCR gives the evidence as the PCR, as the amplification is proceeds. So at actual time the data can be analyzed using this real time PCR. So for the reverse transcription experiments we generally go with the real time PCR to understand the quantity of DNA that is being accumulated at that point of time, so that initial concentrations can be properly determined. So for many purposes like gene expression analysis and gene viral load, or maybe comparative expressions, so we go for this reverse transcription PCR. So basically what is the program that is needed for this reverse transcription PCR? What is the protocol? So there are two types again. We can go for one step process or maybe two step RT-PCR. So in single step RT-PCR, so what it is, we combine reverse transcription with the PCR amplification in a single step. But in the two-step RT-PCR, we generally separate these two processes. First we'll go for reverse transcription. To produce DNA from RNA, and then the DNA that is produced from the reverse transcription can be taken to the PCR reaction mixture as a template, and we proceed to the PCR amplification during the following step. So what is the advantage of using one step RT-PCR and what is the advantage of using two-step RT-PCR? Coming to that point, so one step RT-PCR is basically, it is a simplified process because in a single step we are going to perform all the reactions, and it is less prone to the errors. So error rate is low for the one step RT-PCR because there are less number of pipetting steps. We are not going to transfer first template from first to the second reaction. In a single reaction tube we are going to perform the whole process, so it decreases the error rate, and it is used in the high throughput analysis. So for the large scale analysis, we take different samples, we take different samples and we collect them, we isolate RNA, we can directly add reverse transcriptase enzyme as well as the PCR amplification components to the sample directly, and we can analyze the data in a single step. But so this is highly applicable for the high throughput analysis, and it is a convenient process obviously. And what is the advantage of going for the two-step analysis? So if one step RT-PCR is enough, why we need to go for two-step RT-PCR? So coming to that point, advantages with the two-step RT-PCR is basically if we want to use the initial template or the say for example, we have a biological sample from which the RNA is isolated, and this RNA is all the total amount of RNA is generally being consumed in one step PCR. So we cannot go back to the template again. So what we will do is, in the reverse transcription, using this reverse transcription, if we convert that into the DNA, and these can also be stored. So in the two-step PCR, it is more convenient for such processes where the reverse transcription product from this reverse transcription is again needed for multiple times. So if we want to analyze it in variety of ways, using different genes, if you want to do different analysis using a single sample, then it is better to use this two-step analysis, so that the product from reverse transcription can be used. And also it is applicable for the multiplex PCR. So if you want to go for multiplex PCR or multiplex processes, then it is advisable to use this two-step RT-PCR than the single-step RT-PCR. But the disadvantage with this two-step RT-PCR is here we need to transfer again, one additional transfer step is there from here to here. So there is a chance of contamination. So that increases the sensibility of this reverse transcription PCR. So that is what the one-step RT-PCR or two-step RT-PCR. So based on the experimental purpose we are performing, we need to choose one of the two types of RT-PCR. So here, as we discussed, let us talk again about the enzymes. Generally, these reverse transcriptase enzyme is obtained from MLV virus, that is murine leukemia virus, and this murine leukemia virus is mutated and developed, genetically engineered in such a way that it is easily adaptable to the experimental purposes. So what is happening? In the MLV, the RNase H activity is reduced. That means RNA H activity must be reduced, and so that it will not cleave the RNA from RNA DNA hybrid that is obtained during the first step of the reverse transcription. That means during the reverse transcription, the RNA will be isolated, that will be converted into RNA DNA hybrid in the first step. This RNA H enzyme has the activity of degrading the RNA, so that is eliminated in the reverse transcriptase enzyme, that is MMP LV. So, and this MMLV enzyme has the capacity of transcribing up to 10 kilobase pairs nearly, and the further enzymes, further genetic modifications has been carried in the MMLV, and those are called superscript enzymes. And in the superscript enzymes which are widely used, there are superscript 2, 3, 4, and one is more advanced than the previous. So in the superscript 4 enzyme, we generally have this less RNase H activity and high thermostability, because this enzyme MMLV is generally used at room temperature, that is 37 degrees centigrade, but the thermostability of the superscript enzymes are higher, and up to 50 degrees of the temperature we can use during the reverse transcription reaction, and the enzyme will be active and it is resistant to the inhibitors. Present in the reaction mixture. So due to the inhibitors, there is a chance of blocking enzyme activity, and there is a chance of blocking reverse transcription activity as a whole. So that action of inhibitors is actually resisted by the superscript 4 enzyme, which is a popular enzyme. So for the reverse transcription piece here, so here this is the comparison. And coming to the length of the product that is going to be reverse transcribed, for the superscript 4 it is up to 12 kilobase pairs of the DNA can be obtained. So that is what the comparison of the enzymes. So the last part we are left with is the PCR program. How do we perform this reverse transcription in the PCR machine? So coming to first that point, actually the program is different from the PCR amplification. So during the PCR amplification, what we do generally, first initial denaturation will be there, that is for 94 degrees for almost like 5 minutes. Later, during the cycles, we also have one denaturation for 1 minute, and followed by the annealing temperature, that is for annealing few seconds like 40 to 50 or 30 to 40 seconds are enough for the annealing generally, and the temperatures are 45 to 55 or maybe 40 to 50, and then we'll go to the extension, that is at 72 degrees centigrade for 1 minute, and later the final extension, that is for 5 minutes generally, that is at 72 degrees. So this is the conventional PCR, where high temperatures are used for the denaturation and moderate annealing temperatures, and again high temperatures for the extension of the DNA. So this is different from the reverse transcription reaction. So what is there in the reverse transcription? Generally the RNA is being used for the reverse transcription. So generally the single stranded RNA will always makes the loops, and these kind of loops will be that means internal hybridization will be there in the RNA. So because of this all secondary structures, these need to be removed before we going for the actual reverse transcription process. So for that we employ high temperatures. So at 60 degrees we will start the reaction, and followed by we'll go for a quick chill, that means some 4 degrees centigrade, very less, and later we'll increase the temperature, maybe step by step, up to some 50 degrees. So this is what the cycle for reverse transcription. So here at the 60 degrees the RNA is linearized, and at 4 degrees primers will be attached, and at 50 degrees cDNA will be formed. That means the DNA is produced from the RNA. That is the actual reverse transcription process. So based on the advanced enzymes like superscript, here we are going to use the high temperatures of 50 degrees centigrade. Otherwise some of the enzymes works at only 37 degrees, that is room temperature. So here basically these things so how much time taken for each step? Generally for removing of the secondary structures it need some more or less 5 minutes. So all these processes can be optimized and generally be optimized to be applicable for our experimental purposes and to be adopted to our laboratory. So for our convenience, generally most widely used timings are 5 minutes for 60 degrees, and this is only 2 minutes quick chilling, and followed by this will take the actual process of reverse transcription will take some kind of 40 to 60 minutes. So during this process the cDNA will be formed, and followed by for some time we'll keep it the reaction at 85 degrees centigrade. So later we'll go for 85 degrees centigrade. So what will happen during this 85 degrees centigrade? The enzyme, reverse transcriptase enzyme, will be inactivated. So at this temperature we'll keep the reaction for kind of 5 minutes. So this is the more or less similar process that is generally used in the reverse transcription PCR. If you combine these two processes, then that is the single step RT-PCR, and if you separate these two processes, that means at the end if you are transferring the template from here to here, then it is going to be a two-step process. So based on the experimental purpose we'll choose one of such processes. So that is what the reverse transcription PCR is, and hope you understand this concept. And if you like, share and subscribe to my channel and press bell icon for the further notifications. Thank you.